Great, we're gonna do this in 15-minute increments and let's get it started. All that's happening right now is that I am just writing my weekly newsletter. I write a Monday morning prompt newsletter, and I find it really helpful to go live so that I don't check my phone while I do it. And also, it's the easiest way for me to kind of capture 40 minutes sometimes of footage that I can go back and edit later. So there is a timer here if you want to do work alongside with me. I promise I don't usually talk during the typing. And when the break is going, I'm happy to chit chat, answer questions, do fun things. I used to do this on TikTok all the time, but TikTok is maybe gone forever. So we're gonna try something new. And yeah, I'm the Monday morning prompt over on the Meeting Medic Substack is what we're writing. Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I will be quiet and go back to letting the ASMR happen. That's not my voice. Oh my god, how pretty. It's gonna be 5 minutes, it's gonna be 3 minutes. Let's do 3 minutes. Okay, well, first part of the newsletter's done. I have the prompt. This week it's going to be a journal journey, so everybody's going to answer. I am able to focus best when, I feel accomplished at work when, and my goal this week is to. Because the world's on fire and people still have to go to work, and I'm just trying to make them feel a little bit better about that situation, I think. Because, some people actually have jobs that are important, like help the world at large, which is also great. And they should be able to focus on doing their jobs too. But also, we're all trapped. We're all trapped in capitalism. So we may as well help each other. But I have to now do this. I have to now write these answers for myself so that I can finish the newsletter, really. Because once I have my answers, I'm able to craft like the questions that I want to ask people to reflect on after they write their answers. Because the thing about prompts is like everybody should really do their own prompts, but so often people put out these like notebooks or workbooks or whatever, and they haven't written them, and so they like a prompt is one question. It's not 5 questions. You don't get to do 2 parts to a prompt. That's just 2 prompts. But there's so many that are like, what is your biggest fear and how does it affect you? And it's like, that's 2 very different, like, that's a big fucking question. Prompts, people need smaller questions to start with. I think it's why a lot of people like never actually sit down and start journaling for real, is just because the questions are so overwhelming. if you haven't like learned how to be honest with yourself, how are you going to start by asking yourself like the single toughest questions a human being can answer? Um, and yeah, I used to post, I mean, I still do sometimes. I used to post my morning pages in like sped up mode because I, oh my God, this is so scary every time this happens. Um, the timer went off. But yeah, I need to, um, it's, it's been a day. I feel like the snow has made everything feel at least delayed. But, ugh, I'm giving myself the break because I'm really bad at taking the breaks on the Pomodoro timer, and then I'll get back to writing. I actually am gonna have to change the camera angle to capture this though, so hopefully that doesn't make anyone motion sick. But I have to do handwriting because that is the actual key to all of this, is writing down your thoughts, ideally by hand. We connect to our handwriting way better than we do typing. Because when you're typing, you're part computer. You're thinking in a different way. Whereas handwriting activates like all of these parts of your brain that are otherwise completely dormant. And that's fun. That's cool. I love handwriting. But I still post my like, because I have another YouTube page for my business, which is the one that I'm writing this for, where I post like my workshops and stuff. And I do my like daily to-do list on there. And so I get a lot of comments about my handwriting. And the thing about having nice handwriting is like for me, I've just had it for a really long time because in high school I arbitrarily decided that I would have nice handwriting. And I feel like that's actually like kind of my method in life, is just like I kind of arbitrarily decide I'm doing something now. And then it's just that's it forever. Um, which does feel like kind of what's happening with being on being on camera doing social media. Um, that's yeah, I think typing and editing and reflect like clarifying through typing is really interesting, especially because when you're typing, you can kind of do a thing where you're reading. Like I think reading and typing simultaneously is such an interesting skill that we're able to do for like specific things, because you're using such different parts of your brain. And typing is so scientific in a way, like it activates such a different part of us that I think we are able to do it in some ways in like a less conscious way than handwriting. Especially because like I don't have to pay attention to where I know that the words are going to show up in order if I type them in order, versus if I'm handwriting and I'm not paying attention, my like words are going to go off the page. They're going to be like, so I think that's a really great way to do it. Also, like it's impossible to create like a filing system within a notebook. So having your thoughts typed up is great. I do that with comedy. I keep all of my jokes in my like comedy notebook. I handwrite everything and then I type it up to index it, because otherwise I will never remember the jokes that I wrote 4 months ago that I did at one mic that I never did again. All right, 12 seconds. And then I'm going to get going on this handwriting. And then I'm going to finish this newsletter. I'm going to feel so accomplished. I have to go work out. All right. Ugh. We're moving. Oh my God. My desk is on fire. Okay, great. Do-do-do. I usually put on some kind of background thing. Yeah, great. Let's do a walk around Lake Como. Why not? Do-do-do-do. That's pretty. Okay. Oh, Boo Boo, you are so just out of frame. That's hilarious. Okay, and we're done. And surprise, my cat was sitting right there the entire time I was writing. And she's on painkillers. She's getting over a leg injury that she fell off the fridge for. So thank you everyone for hanging out. Who's still hanging out? Hi. You have to get down now because I have to go back to typing. I know. I'm so sorry. No. You doing okay? Dinner's in like an hour. You're okay. You're gonna be fine. Yeah, she fell off the fridge and it was not great. And she's 10, but we went and got x-rays at midnight because I am a panicker. And she's A-okay. And they did a bunch of other labs and she's in perfect health otherwise. So she's doing okay. She's just a little bit doped up for the next few days. And thankfully that'll help her not feel terrible while she recovers, because it's so hard when your animal's injured because you can't explain to them what's happening. So she is okay, and I got kudos on her health otherwise, which I always appreciate because I I do my best with them. They eat, I mean, their diet used to be so much crazier than it is now, but they eat raw food now. I mean, they always have, but I used to be like bringing home rabbit feet and stuff for them. I was into it at one point. Boo Boo hasn't had awful in a while, but she used to. Okay. She's very, Boo Boo, they're calling you precious. She likes compliments a lot. She's very funny. I found her out. She was outside of my friend's house for 2 weeks in Portland, Oregon. She was a street cat, and their cat was fighting with her, which is why they didn't bring her inside. And then I went over one night, and she came up to me, and I thought it was their cat because they had like this big, fluffy cat, and I thought it was, but no, it was tiny little Boo Boo, and she was like 6 months old, and we think she was 6 months old, and then she came inside, and she's been inside ever since, and she's great. She is a ferocious eater, so I have baby locks on literally every single part of my house, because she tries to eat human food constantly, and like not just like open food. Like she'll like slice through bags with her nails and then eat stuff. So it used to be a lot harder to keep her kind of in check. She kicks open the freezer. She's so my house is in lockdown mode a lot of the time because of her antics. So having a cat that's been like a little bit less intense for the past week while she's been recovering has been an interesting, like, oh, I don't have to be on guard while making lunch all the time. But she was she was technically, she was free, but then I had to pay for all of her vet stuff. So, and then she's been with me for 9 years. 10 years this year, maybe. Yeah. And I have another cat who I got 6 months later, who was also found outside, but she came from the Multnomah County Animal Shelter. And she came through my work because we used to adopt out shelter cats. And her sister were so cute. And somebody adopted her sister. And I was just like, I'm obsessed with her. So I took Weem home. So I have Boo Boo, who's an all black cat. And I have Weem, who's a calico. But she only has markings on her head, and then she has like a little lemur tail. So they're very cute together. They look like a yin yang when they curl up. They're my favorite little things in the whole world. All right, time to write. Let's finish this up. Great, I was right. Metaphysical is the word I'm looking for. Oh shit, what was last week's? Okay, one thing I want to make time for this week, that's fine. Okay. Yay, we're done the newsletter. Yeah, I will say with writing this newsletter and all of my blogs, I don't draft nearly as coherently as I do when I'm doing like long form fiction and things. Like I drafted the Heated Rivalry newsletter a little bit more because I knew because that was I that Substack has been like my little project that I've told absolutely no one about, and for 4 years have just accumulated I think I had like a total of like 30 subscribers, and then I mentioned that I was doing a Heated Rivalry thing, and it's now at like 200 something, and that happened in like 12 hours. Like it was I thankfully I'm used to having an audience for my writing in other arenas. I have this newsletter like I think actually now this newsletter has had more followers basically the entire time because it's like one idea, not just like I don't know, sometimes it's personal essay and sometimes it's media analysis. But Smoke Show was not meant for that many people's eyes. So I had a moment of like, should I go through and like delete some of these older fucking personal essays? But I think it's fine. No one actually goes through the archive, is what I've learned. And if they do, they rarely tell you about it. It's kind of like when if your friend like actually reads your diary, it's like they're not going to be able to bring that shit up to you. They can't tell you that they went back and read number 49 on your blog, um, out of 200 something. But yeah, it's been good. Okay, this was really helpful. I'm glad I did this, and I should. It's 8 o'clock already. Ugh. I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. I should probably go take photos for this, wrap it up, schedule it, feed my cats, do a workout, shower, make like 9 more videos about heated rivalry probably, and then go to sleep. Go to bed. Um, but this has been so fun. Thank you all for hanging out. I will do more of these kind of like work with me lives in the future. And yeah, I'll figure stuff out. I feel like I'm trying to do longer form. I ordered a mic because the acoustics in my house are shit. So I don't want to make long form content with bad sound. That's a quality issue that I am personally irked by. So my microphone should be here like Tuesday or Wednesday, and hopefully at that point I'll have also figured out the like Ecamm stuff. Yeah, go for it. I cannot stop talking. I'm a yapper, so feel free to ask whatever. But yeah, this is great. You can see me. But yeah, I have a or I have a system for doing like this kind of stuff. So I know I do Zoom operator stuff for my job. I'm a facilitator. So I have the way I think I'm gonna film the stuff. I just need to figure out like inputs. But yeah, feel free to type your heated rivalry question if I haven't said that already. I'm yapping because I'm exhausted. Sunday is exhausting sometimes for me. Thank you for loving the heated rivalry content. I love making it. I'm sure that at some point I will make other forms of content again. So the book is a little bit more explicit about the commercial. The commercial that they're shooting is for CCM, which is I'm assuming they kept it the same. I don't think they would have been shooting anything for the games yet because they weren't like known names or anything. But at least in the book, it's a CCM commercial, which is the like padding and like sport outfit company wearing like CCM gloves and stuff. You see the logo a lot throughout the series. So that's the commercial that they were shooting, and it makes sense in terms of like Shane was probably already an ambassador and Ilya was just the one who suggested that both of them show up on the commercial at the same time. So it's not like he got Shane signed or anything. He just, but yeah, they're, generational talents. Look at them go. The commercial's great. I should talk more about the commercial. It's just, I have though. I say that as if like I haven't made them. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed the live. I will keep doing them. I've been doing them on TikTok just because I cannot stop checking my phone right now. Making short form content has ruined my brain in terms of my screen time. And so this is the easiest, best way I found to literally take my phone out of my own hands. And it's kind of like when you went to the library in college and like other people were watching you study, so you actually studied. That's how I feel about doing work while on live. So that'll be fun. Yeah, here's the thing. You can have some uncensored thoughts about the books. I think the books are fine. I think Rachel Reed is really, really good with plot and character development. And personally, for me, I think her syntax is fine, and her dialogue is okay, and like her sex scenes are good. She has like really good. Her writing style is distinct in terms of like a lot of romances are written in that kind of style, and yeah. But the books, I don't you can read the books whenever you want. I enjoyed the first book a lot. I didn't love The Long Game, I'll be honest. But I wasn't disappointed by it. It was a fine reading experience. I still read it in like one fucking sitting. Like my friend who got me into it, I've been live texting her about stuff. And it is hard when your friends are not into it. My best friend has not seen it, and I keep trying to find new angles to make her see it. And so far, the ones that have worked best have been the fact that Ilya's a smoker, and that it's a millennial time capsule. So we're multi-prong approaching getting Meryl to watch Heated Rivalry because I think she'll enjoy it. She's much more of a sitcom girl. Yesterday I got close. We watched The Traitors yesterday, and I was like, oh, what were we gonna watch after? Because we had talked about watching something else, and now I can't remember what that thing was. Um, and we couldn't remember, and I was like, maybe we can watch Heated Rivalry. But it's that thing of like the first episode is so different from the other ones that I don't want to do the thing where you're like sitting there watching someone watch it, and you're like, don't worry, it's different and better later. Because I don't think the first episode is bad by any means. That is not me saying that. But I think the first episode is a lot more satisfying to watch once you've already seen the series. Like, that is kind of a confusing element of it for me, is that when I first watched it, I was like, this is a lot of time jumps. Like, I don't fully keep up with this at all. And you don't have to. It's a vibes-based show, you know? Yeah, forcing friends to watch things, I think, is a beloved pastime. But I am also very much of the belief that your friends kind of have to come to the show in like I cannot be forced to watch a show. Like, my friend has been trying to get me to read Heated Rivalry for like 2 years. and she uses my HBO account. She was very excited to find out that it was being adapted. So like, I've known about it since the day it was announced, kind of vibes. But I kept being like, yeah, that thing that you love that I'm just not, I don't know, I don't like hockey RPF. And now here we are. She's the most vindicated woman on the planet. Yes, I think this is the thing. I think when you force people into something, if they don't organically grow to love it within the first like 5 minutes, they are gonna have some kind of simmering resentment around the shit. Like, my best friend is also the other show that I mean, I haven't uploaded nearly as many videos on here about it, but I have like so many, like it's probably like 500 or so TikToks about Gilmore Girls. And that's another show my best friend has never seen. Yeah, I think intriguing people is the way to do it, dropping little hints. Like, Meryl didn't know that it was a millennial like flashback, and that has really intrigued her. And so I think just finding the angle. Here's the thing about Gilmore Girls. I think it's one of the best shows ever written. I think it's more cynical than people give it credit for. I think it's like, it's not a show because they did not subscribe, that like is typical. And yeah, I think it's kind of like the movies that anytime you mention you haven't seen them, people are like, you haven't fucking seen that. And it's like, don't be hostile. Like, it's okay. I've seen movies I'm sure other people haven't seen. In fact, I know I have, because I fucking love the movie Center Stage, and no one's ever seen that movie except other dancers. So but like, when you hear that all the time, you like, none of my friends who have never seen The Godfather feel particularly intrigued by it because they've been yelled at so many times about it that it's not fun. Center Stage is so good. I think about it all the time when I'm watching Heated Rivalry because of the line, it's a heady thing, isn't it, being the best? Because I think that that's what they're both going through in many ways. Like, Shane and Ilya are both the best at what they do, and that's why they're so immediately relatable to each other. And yeah, you didn't have the feet, I don't have the heart. Like, oh no, they've both got everything they need. They just have different approaches to the game and like different personalities. So it's great because it's not about like one person being more talented. There was someone on Tumblr who had a really funny, interesting like AU idea of like, what if Shane and Ilya were not great hockey players? What if they were just fine? What if they like made the NHL, but they weren't incredible, and so they got traded all the time, and like their relationship had to go through the trading. Gilmore Girls is the most fun thing to overanalyze in the world, by the way. I need to get on uploading all of my videos, but there's just so many of them at this point that it's like kind of terrifying to me, like the prospect of having to go through and download all of them. But I should, because TikTok might disappear tomorrow. And yeah, the dynamics and the character dynamics are so good in Gilmore. And one thing that I started really resenting around just like modern fandom in general is kind of how shallow a lot of the critique is. It's just like Rory Gilmore is a bully. And I'm like, okay. And what else? Does she get punished for it in the narrative? Yes. Do things happen to demonstrate to Rory that that's not a way she should behave? Yes, because while this show is not like a parable, it's also like characters have to be flawed. And because Gilmore Girls is a show about women, all of the flawed characters are women, and God forbid a woman have a flaw. And also, everybody gets so mad at Lorelai Gilmore for like being overly talky and hilarious, and I'm like, oh no, her defense mechanism worked so well; it worked on the audience. But yeah, I don't know. It became like a running joke that I was like a Rory Gilmore defender, and I was like, I'm not defending her. I just actually think that she's not a bad character. Like, she's literally one of the most interesting characters we had in the early 2000s, and so many millennial like young women based so much of their belief of self around what the ideals of Rory kind of were. I think she's like a very prototypical burned out overachiever millennial archetype, and they didn't know that they were writing that at the time. But I think in hindsight, she's really captures something specific. And I've always wanted to analyze Rory using Malcolm Harris's book, Kids These Days, which I think could also be a very interesting book to apply to Shane Hollander, because it's about like the pressure that our parents put on us. Particularly, it's a very American-centric book, I will say, but millennials were, put into a world that had never existed before and given a set of standards that had never been asked of anyone. Kids these days. I'm a huge Malcolm Harris fan. I don't know that I've uploaded them on here, but I've made a lot of videos about recommending Malcolm Harris books, particularly Palo Alto and What's Left. But Kids These Days, I think, is, for me, the one that I'm always like, start with Kids These Days. It's approachable. And yeah, I mean, it's incredibly American. But the thing about like American-centric work is I'm like, yeah, some people are fucking American. Like, he's speaking about his experience in Palo Alto, like that, he's not taking, but I sound like this, but I'm not fully American. I was born and raised in Ireland, and I'm half American, half Irish, but most of my childhood was in Ireland. And so I went to both school systems, and it's very, it's very different. And you can't capture all of it, but I do think that the pressure that millennials were under from their parents was very universal. So while it might not be the exact specific college thing, there's so much other relatability. But also the thing about America is, like, unfortunately, we have soft power, launched our culture around the world in so many ways that, like, there are kids who grew up being pressured to go to these exact American universities in order to prove something. So it's not inapplicable. It's just, the guy who wrote it's American. But if you're still here, I do have to go. But if you are still here and you're still listening, read some Malcolm Harris, because he's great, and he's also very funny and insightful, and I think he's great. But I went to 2 different readings around What's Left. He did one at MoMA PS1 last year. And he talked about the art that inspired What's Left, and it was really interesting, and I got really into Goya after that. And then I went to his book launch when the book was finally out, and he had 3 different women come and represent, like, market craft and populism and communism, and it was really good. So big fan. What's Left made me hopeful after Palo Alto fucking destroyed me. Because I can't be normal about Bank of America anymore. And I've thought about doing like a Palo Alto book club, but I'm just like, that is so much. I don't know that I can physically withstand the amount of information in that book. Anyway, okay. Thank you all so much for being here. I've had so much fun. We'll do this again sometime. I'll try to announce it before it happens, but I do like doing work on these. I usually am following the Pomodoro timer and not just yapping off screen, but who knows? Everything's up in the air. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks for enjoying the Heat of Rivalry stuff. Anytime you want to see stuff or like have questions or want me to talk about something, like, please feel free to ask, especially when things are kind of like asked nicely or open-endedly. Like, I'm always happy to make videos about it. So thank you all. And, maybe I'll make a center stage supercut of something, because now I can't stop thinking about that movie. Okay, bye.